Last Tuesday, my landline broke completely, which meant no broadband and no calls through the landline. Now, I also live in an area with very little phone signals. This led to sort of some interesting problems, especially with it being my Easter holiday. So in this video, I'm going to sort of cover how I survived having no landline for a week in an area with pretty poor phone signal. So prior to last Tuesday, my line had been completely stable for nearly 90 days. So the broadband hadn't resynced, it hadn't changed speed, it hadn't dropped out anything at all. It had just been kind of perfect. And then I lost the broadband, and then about 10 minutes later the landline just went dead completely. I was given a fixed date of Friday, but there were a number of major faults, so it didn't end up being fixed until Tuesday afternoon. Now in my area, even if you're outside, the signal is very dodgy, and it's very common to see no signal on all the mobile networks in the UK. However, I found that by placing my phone in the right sort of part of the window, on the outside part of the window, I could actually scrape a reasonably decent 4G connection. And because I have 20 gigabytes of data on my main contract, that then kept us going for quite a while. However, 20 gigabytes, we typically go through maybe 100 a month, so we needed something else, and fortunately Vodafone was doing a pay-as-you-go SIM promotion where on the first big bundle purchase they would give 50 gig of extra data. So we popped to Sainsbury's, picked up a £1 Vodafone pay-as-you-go SIM and a £10 top-up voucher, topped up the pay-as-you-go SIM card, and then used that. However, because this is a large house and there's lots of devices, we didn't just use tethering and portable hotspot. No. Instead, we used a separate router and USB tethering. So this is the setup we had. So you can see the phone outside in a waterproof plastic bag, which then connects inside using a little USB cable into this ASUS DSL N55U. Now this route is very clever in that it will use a USB modem for fallback if DSL fails. And fortunately the Moto G phone was able to present itself as a USB modem to this router. So then all I did was plug this router by a Cat 5 cable to the rest of the normal domestic network and set the IP address of this router to that of our normal modem. So I didn't have to reconfigure anything at all, because this was the same address as the previous router, so all the data basically knew where to go according to the previously learnt DHCP rules. So in other words, mobile broadband somewhat saved our bacon. Now, outside of the promotional, say 50 gig thing, which I think will be expiring soon, EE offers some quite nice data sims which would be able to achieve very much the same thing. But I think it shows that routers that support mobile broadband fallback can actually be quite a good idea, especially if in the event of a DSL, so landline broadband outage, you want internet access to the same number of devices and not just one or two, say, phones or laptops that will then connect to the phone's mobile Wi-Fi hotspot. Just in case any of you are wondering which masts are actually providing me this signal and what they look like, here is a picture. Now, these masts are 10 miles from my house. Yeah, that's right, 10 miles. Which explains why in some parts of my area the signal's a little bit weak, because that is a serious distance for mobile signal to travel. And there are masts that are closer to me, but due to weird terrain and trees and foliage, I can't connect to them, and frankly the masts local to me tend to be quite legacy ones as well. So the data speeds are not anywhere near as good, and they're certainly not 4G yet. So the mast on the left here is the Vodafone O2 one, which broadcasts 800 MHz 4G and 900 MHz 2G, 3G for Vodafone and only 2G for O2. The one on the right is the EE tower. You can kind of recognise the old orange panels, some of which have been left at the top. And it also has new dual band CommScope panels with low band and high band inputs. So you've got 800 MHz on one input and 1800 2G 4G on the other. This mast does not carry 3G for EE or 3, it's just an EE 2G 4G mast. However, when I was there, I recorded the cell ID of my phone, and it's the same cell ID as I get at home. So it has to be coming from there, and actually doing a terrain check, it kind of indicates it probably is coming from there. Though, at the site, like where I was standing to take the picture, on Vodafone I was getting speeds around 50 megabits per second on 4G, which is quite good for 800 MHz, and about 60 thereabouts for EE. However, back at my house 10 miles away, speeds are a little bit slower because even high up on that windowsill, the signal is quite borderline for both, and certainly as signal gets weaker it does tend to hit speeds. Although at times I can still hit actually up to about 30 megabits down and about 5 up, which is actually significantly faster than my usual landline. It's just a simple matter of data costs on mobile broadband that have kind of prevented us from moving to mobile broadband completely. However, as they get cheaper, and in fact even now, we are very seriously looking into using an EE 32 gig per month data SIM as a replacement for the landline and the broadband. Thanks for watching.